Yes, still Colours family. What's everyone saying? Hope everyone's blessed. Hope everyone's well. We're back at it again with another review. This time around, I've got one of my charges, Zensman. You've probably seen him on a couple of our videos already. What you saying, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, my brother. How you been?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. So obviously we had to bring Zensman out for this very, very special ep. Um, Obviously today we're going to be reviewing one of our favorite artists at the moment, a man by the name of Isaiah Rashad. You may have heard of him. Um, he's finally released his third studio album, The House Is Burning, after like 5 years. We ain't heard from this guy, but he's finally back again, and all the TDE fans, I'm sure I can speak for all you guys and say that obviously we're over the moon because obviously this guy's been away for like 5 years too long, in fact. So yeah,
Way
like
too
yeah,
long,
we're
bro.
glad that exactly. So we're glad obviously he's come with his new project. And yeah, we're just gonna give it a quick look at review. But Zensman, just before we get into the review, how did you first come across Isaiah Rashad? Because I know that you were one of the first people that I know that was on game.
The boy Zay.
Yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Isaiah Rashad. This is probably back in the TDE hype when obviously Top Dog Entertainment,
Mm,
all the artists were all coming through. And
yeah.
with Isaiah, when Top Dog was signing him, it was one of the artists that for some reason was getting a lot of slack, getting this whole comparison
Mm,
towards up the K Dot, you
mm,
know?
mm, mm, mm.
And I think that initial hate that he was getting from the beginning just kind of drew me closer to understanding what he was as an artist and what Top Dog obviously saw in him. So
Mm, mm, mm.
from then on, I was just attracted to his music straight away and just to his flow, man, as a person. It's not
Mm.
even just as an artist, but Zay as a person. I just kind of got to understand him and I just vibe with him, man.
Really drive him, yeah. Because I know, bro. Like I said before, you were one of the first people to really put me on Isaiah. This was back in 2013, 2014. Because I know that you went to see him when he came down to London.
Yeah,
I can't remember what year that was. What year was that, bro?
it would be about 2016,
Okay,
2016,
2016,
2017.
2016,
So
2017.
that's the time he come down and he just released the second album at the
The
time.
Sans Tirade, yeah. I think that was the album that really, really put me on Zay because I didn't really listen to the first one. But then obviously the second one, I think that you're the one that again put me on game and obviously told me to sort of listen to Isaiah and especially the second album. And obviously when I listened to it, I was instantly drawn to him. Because obviously back in those days, people were mainly focusing on Schoolboy, Kendrick, obviously. And
Absol.
Absol, yeah. So Isaiah was like the stepchild kind of thing, you know what I mean? He
Yeah,
was like
trust.
the the forgotten
SZA
child.
was getting more love. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
Caesar
say?
was getting
So
more love. Yeah. Caesar was getting more love than Isaiah Rashad. And Isaiah Rashad, like he's been around the TD movement for like a lot longer than Caesar has. So yeah, man, like obviously right now he's getting his flowers, but it wasn't always the case. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't always the case. But yeah, like I'm glad that obviously you put me on Isaiah. And I was obviously excited to hear that this guy was releasing new music. Like as of recent, we've been starved. Like just in terms of TDE releases, we've been starving, bro. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick
yeah,
hasn't released something in a minute. Cesar hasn't released something in a minute. Absol, I mean, when was the last time we heard from him? You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy Q. I think obviously the last TDE, major release was J Rock. Obviously, the likes of Sir and Reason have released their tapes in the last couple of years. But I'm just talking like the major artists on TDE. Like the last one was really J Rock, if you count J Rock as a major artist. So obviously, we were excited to hear that Isaiah was releasing something. But I
it
can't even
was
lie, to when
so strong.
I was a bit skeptical because you know what I mean. I thought like when Isaiah Rashad first what's it called release, I think the first single off of the album.
Or headshots.
Yeah, Headshots, obviously, which is a banger. Like I thought, okay, cool, he's released this song, but like we're not gonna get an album this year. Like he's just gonna release a track and then he's gonna go hiding for the next 5 years. But luckily enough, he followed it up with this album that we're about to review. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Mm,
excited, man. It's
mm.
been long overdue, long
Hundred
overdue,
percent,
man.
100%, 100%. But I know that obviously, if you guys don't know the backstory, I know that he was going through some personal issues. You know, over these last 5 years, you know, it's well documented. So obviously, if you guys want to find out what I'm talking about, just Google's your best friend. You can yeah. You can just search for it. But yeah, I know that he was going through some personal stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm.
In his life, obviously that prevented him from you know, being able to muster the strength to even make music. You know what I mean?
I say sometimes you gotta take a step back from this music game at
Yeah,
times, man.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only.
To get your life together, yeah. And I know obviously TDE, like they kind of really stepped in for him during those times where he was, having those personal issues. Um, which is good to hear. But yeah, like obviously we're glad that he's back. But yeah, man, let's just get straight into it, Zenzo. So, what did you make of this album, bro? Like, like was it worth the wait?
Yeah,
Okay.
pardon me. It's definitely worth the wait, man.
Mm,
An album I expected because when you look at the boy Zay,
mm.
when you look at all the main artists within TDE, he's different in a sense. He's
Yeah.
quite eccentric in a sense. When you're looking at,
Mm,
I don't know, Absol he's more of the outspoken type of artist. J Rock is more of your old gangster. Schoolboy Q kind of the same as well. But
mm,
something about Zay, his flow,
mm,
content, just the way he produces his music in that sense that
mm,
he's a
mm,
different caliber of artist, man. So
mm,
sometimes you got to put him in their own lane and actually grasp and understand who they are as an artist, bro.
mm, mm,
You
mm.
can't. He's the type of artist that I always like to tell people. He ain't gonna win you over in a second. You've got to
Listen,
understand
yeah,
the
yeah.
story. You've got to
Mm,
deep exactly who he is and not compare him to obviously the artist within Top Dog. But I
100%.
was happy with the album when I first listened to it, man.
Say yeah, no, I totally agree with you, bro, and I think like that's why it took me a long time to get into Zay, because I first had to understand him, and once I understood him, then I was able to resonate with his music a lot more, and
Mm.
I personally feel like he definitely delivered with this album. You know what I'm saying? Like it was definitely worth the wait. You see what I'm trying to say? Like it was definitely worth the wait, and you can tell that from the Sun's tirade, yeah, which he released in 2015 till now,
Mm.
he's definitely grown as an artist and as a person.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Even from the first album from Sylvia Demo,
Yeah,
look
yeah,
how it's
yeah.
from there.
Facts,
And that
facts.
to me to this day is still one of my favorite albums.
And that
Still
and
one
that
of my
album
favorite
got
albums.
yeah, and that album was rated highly by the critics. So and I've just been seeing the reception online for this album personally, and it's been really good. You know what I mean? Like it's been really good, and I'm happy for Zay. I'm really happy for Zay. He definitely deserves the shine that he's getting right now. So I mean, sense like just touching more about the album, or touching more on the album, should I say?
Mm.
What were like your favorite tracks?
From the album itself, I say the album started off quite strong with Dark Seed. I thought, all right, cool.
Mm,
Came with an intro of an album, just kind of explaining his story and where
mm,
the direction of the album was going to.
mm,
Always got a story to tell, and a lot of people always
mm,
try and drag him through his story, talking about coming from nothing and dealing with mental state, etc. But
mm,
that's his life at the end of the day, man. You know
mm,
what I'm trying to say? So, but from the third track onwards, I think the third track was R.I.P. Young. I
mm.
think the track after that to me,
Yeah. Mm,
R.I.P. Young, the track with Juice.
mm,
And obviously the fifth track that he done fantastic well. I think the features were just perfect. The amount of tracks he had on the album as well.
mm,
From the third track onwards, yeah, he ruled me in 110%.
Zenzaman, I definitely hear what you're saying, and obviously going into the theme of the album, obviously he named it "The House Is Burning," and also I looked into it, and I sort of found out that the reason why he called it "The House Is Burning" is because, like, if your house is actually burning, yeah, like, you can choose to do two things in it. So you can choose to just go in and try and save as many things as you possibly can, um,
Mm.
whilst the house is on fire. Like you can try and retrieve your personal items and stuff of that nature, or you can just you know, do nothing about it, accept that your house is going to burn down to the ground and just start again in life. You know what I mean? And I feel like obviously the first track that we get on the album, Dark Send, I feel like obviously that kind of ties into what the album is all about. You know what I mean? Because obviously, I think there's a few lines that are caught off of that song where he's talking about being on the edge, and doing like doing anything to basically survive. You know what I mean? Like by any means necessary. Like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep afloat. You know what I mean? And it's like he's sort of story, like he's giving us a little backdrop and a little sort of story about like obviously growing up in LA and growing up in the hood. You know what I mean? And obviously the danger that brings. You know what I'm saying? And essentially he's saying like I'm ready to go to war. Like I'm ready to do whatever it is to protect my kids, to protect those I love. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I definitely got that from the first track, and obviously the beat as well, bro. Like proper psychedelic as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, it reminded me of I can't even like the southern influence in some of these songs is real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can definitely tell like he's definitely influenced by southern music. You know, and obviously like the production on the first track reminded me of something I would have heard on Outkast 80 Aliens or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
That's a good comparison, man.
Yeah. So obviously, like I really like that track, and similar to you, like I love the second track, R.I.P. Young. Again, just that laid back production, that those classic LA strings. You know, again, obviously, you know, reminds me of the South. You know, UGK.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like, and I think with Isaiah as well, like, you know, it's just pure vibes, bro. Like that's what it is. It's just vibes.
That's what I was about to say. And then R.I.P. Young is the epitome of Isaiah.
Yeah,
It's
just the
vibes.
epitome.
It gets you in that mode. Like if I was a smoker,
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
a
Facts.
bit of a magnum on the side, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts, bro. Facts. That's Isaiah, you know, for you. And obviously not everyone's gonna sort of resonate to that because like you said, bro, like not everyone is from LA, not everyone's a smoker like that, you know. Not everyone has grown up in the hood, but I just feel like Isaiah, obviously, you know, I wouldn't say Isaiah is a one trick pony, but what he does really well. You know what I'm saying? He does really well. And yeah, bro, like bro, I can't even lie. Like this, I've got like 4 or 5 tracks here off of this album that I really fuck with. Like I can't even decide which one's my favorite. Like I also love the 14th track. I think it's THIB. Where it's got that Missy sample. Did you clock the Missy sample? I can't stand the rain. Yeah. Bro, that was cold. I can't even lie. And obviously that's one of my favorite tracks, you know what I mean? From Missy. So the fact that he sampled it, yeah, and like the fact that he sampled it and it sounded that hard, fam. Like, yeah, bro, like it's yeah. And I think again, one of the strongest points about this album was the production. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what I was gonna say.
Was the
Production
production.
from the
It's next level.
interludes
Yeah.
to it flowed like crazy, man.
It's
There were
next level.
certain interludes, I think, so cutting you off for certain tracks. I can't remember in between what tracks there were, where you can see the struggle when he's coming out of his car and you're hearing the car beeping. And if you recognize the sound, that's like a sound of an old Ford.
Yes, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just going through the grasp, and there was another interlude where the baby mom's talking and trying to ask for money, and it's like, bro, what he does, he brings his real life into music at the end of the day. With a lot of artists tend to do this, the type of content, it depends on what you're speaking on. But Zay is just a real artist. Zay does music for me as something that's therapeutic for him.
Yes, you can tell. You can definitely like you can tell
I'm
that
trying to
music.
say.
You can tell that music essentially saved his life. You know what I'm saying? Like without music, we don't know what he will be doing. You know? And yeah, you can definitely tell, man. He takes his music thing seriously. That's why probably it's taken him so long to, in between, you know, his first, second, and third album to release a project because like Isaiah's not one of these artists that's gonna rush something. You know what I mean? Like he takes his time because he really cares about the art. He really cares about the music. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can definitely hear that in this album and his albums prior to this one. You know,
That's it. That's
like
it. That's it.
he's a serious eye. He loves what he does. You can tell. You know, and he takes it seriously. You know, he takes it seriously. And yeah, man, and I think also another plus point about this album is the features. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like,
you
the
put the
features
words
are
out of my
really,
mouth.
really strong. The features are really strong. Like obviously, you know, Simno on Claymore. I thought
Yeah,
that feature was
big artist.
really, you know, you know, Simo. I'm a fan of him. I know you're a fan of him as well, Zenz, man. You
Big
know,
facts.
yeah. Like his voice really meshed well with the beat on that one. And obviously, I love I think there's a female vocalist on that track as well. Um, on Claymore. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, shout out to you. You
Yeah,
know,
there was a secondary voice on that
yeah,
one.
the
Yeah,
secondary
yeah,
voice, yeah, yeah. In the section of the song, um, and on that track, like you just feel like, you know what I mean, like you feel like you're floating, fam. Like you, it's like you feel like you're underwater. Like that's what I felt like. You know, again, it goes back to the whole like this vibes. It's when it with Isaiah Rashad, it's just pure vibes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's pure vibes. And then obviously, you know, another feature that I loved was Cesar and Six Black on Score. Um, you know,
Yo,
Zenz, man, you know how you know how I love Cesar. You know, I know you love Cesar
trust
too.
me.
Yeah. And I'm a fan
And
of Six
one
Black.
fact as well,
Mm.
every single album, she always features when it
Wow.
comes as they seem to have a very good bond.
Yes,
It's
yes,
very, very
yes. It's
good.
like a brother and sister type thing, innit?
That's it.
Mm,
That's it. That's it. I've
mm.
sensed that from like the first album, even when SZA's doing her music as well. There's always that sort of feature, some sort of connection there. So I think there's a lot of trust when it comes to
Mm,
within the camp. You know,
And you can tell they've got like a lot of chemistry, and they've got
oh,
like a great working relationship. Because it's true, every feature that I've heard from them has been banging. You know what I mean?
amazing.
It's been banging. Yeah. And I know that he kind of featured on her before she released her debut album. She released like a mixtape in it. I think he was featured on one of the tracks there, and yeah, that's one of my favorite songs from her actually. So yeah, they definitely got a lot of chemistry, man.
It's crazy, man. Big track. And another one that I liked as well with the artist Juice. What
Yes,
was
yes, 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 yes,
late
yes,
late
yes.
video?
Yes. And
I
it had
listened to
that
the music
3 6
video to that
Mafia
one
sample.
already.
Yeah. That was one of the singles as well, Sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Big different. I
Mm.
like to say, but once again, vibes.
Once again delivered. Yeah. Bro, this is vibes all through this album, man. You know, I mean, I can name so many songs. I mean, 9 to 3 freestyle. You know, again with
Don't
the
Shoot was another one.
yes, exactly. Again with the sort of the sort of chopped and screw Houston influence with the piano chords. Um, bro, what you said as well, which was one of the singles.
Uh-huh.
Again, that's a very strong track. Headshots as well. Again, he released that as a single.
Big tracks though.
Big track, big track, man. Big track, bro. Like, yeah, man. This album, like, it's this again. If you're a fan of Isaiah Rashad, like, none of the things that you heard in this album will come as a surprise to you. But I just feel like Isaiah, man. I feel like again he stepped it up. You know, from you know the Suns tirade till now. I feel like he
Yeah.
sort of he stepped it up, especially in terms of production. But I will say that still to this very day, my favorite Isaiah Rashad album is the Suns tirade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Big
still
album.
think that's the best album in his discography. But this album is not too far away from it. I can't even lie. You know what I mean? I can't
Mm.
even lie. I can't even lie.
I was even gonna ask as well, with
Mm,
him coming back now,
mm,
and you're looking at him within the TDE roster,
mm.
where do you place him at? And it's not just in regards to his lyricism, just as an artist, because like I said, a lot of people underrate Isaiah massively. Sometimes they don't even like to include him in as the main artist within TDE.
Mm.
We like to say he's at least on the same playing field as Q, Absol, as J Rock, even K Dot.
Obviously, I think that's a good question, bro. And I was even gonna ask you that question, so it's good that you asked it to me first. But I feel like obviously Kendrick will always be the undisputed number one in TDE. Like that you know, he will always be number one in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like in terms of like the second spot, yeah, I feel like that's up for grabs now. I can't even lie. Because before Cube had that second spot in it. You know what I mean? But now Cube has kind of fallen off a bit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the second spot's up for the taking. And right now, I can't even lie. Like for me, like a lot of people will tell you that in TDE, like if you were to ask them who they think is the best lyricist, for example, like a lot of them will say either Kendrick or Absol. You know what I mean? They would never really include Isaiah Rashad in that. And I do feel Isaiah Rashad has got overlooked. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely got overlooked since he's been at TDE. But I think now we need to start having a conversation of him being one of the best in TDE. You know what I mean? Because he's released 3 solid projects in a row now. You know what I mean? Like Cube hasn't done that.
That's what I'm saying.
J-Rock hasn't done that. No, Absol hasn't done that. Absol hasn't done that. So then it's like, okay, cool. When are we gonna finally give this guy the respect that he deserves? You know what I'm saying? Because that's 3 solid projects in a row now. Like the only other person that's done that is Kendrick. You know what I mean? So it's like, why can't we put Isaiah Rashad in that conversation now?
He deserves.
I definitely feel no sense. I definitely feel now we have to start putting Isaiah Rashad in that conversation. You know what I mean? Do you share the same sentiments?
110%. 100. I've been screaming this. Reason why, even from when I went to go and see him back in 2016, 17, when he come down to London, bro, the fan base, the amount of love, and he was obviously performing the tracks off of the Sun's Terrain. It was, mate, absolutely one of probably top 2 concerts I've been to.
Yeah.
Young Thug, and second would have been Isaiah's, and that's no cap. No cap.
Yeah. 100%, bro. Like I've
seen people need to put respect on his name, man.
They do, and hopefully after this album, people will. You know what I'm saying? People will, because he deserves it. He definitely deserves it. So I mean, Zenz, with this album, is there anything you didn't like, or is there anything you feel like he could have done better?
You know what? I think as an album, knowing that he's been away for a little while, I think he got his spot on with the features. So he didn't go with anyone too heavy at the same time as well. Features, he got a spot on the production, as we've spoken already. Listen, it just meshes together. It's a typical Isaiah project. He ain't chasing the mainstream charting scores. No, he's gone for an album which, like I said, is filled with vibes, therapeutic. There's a story to be told, and he's really just telling the people that, you know what, he's the artist that everyone knows him to be. He's come back with a vengeance in a sense, and he's going to do music the way he loves to do music.
Facts. I feel like for me though, I think the one thing I think he could have done better was, like, I don't know. It's not like, because Isaiah Rashad, you kind of like, you know, if you followed him, you know, for a long time, you kind of know what you're gonna get with him. I just feel like maybe he could have not even switched it up, fam, but like maybe had more of a, because obviously, yes, I know the theme of the album is the house is burning analogy that I used in the beginning, but like I feel like, you know, there's a few songs where he kind of goes off of that. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can I even explain it? Like, obviously the first track, you know, you can tell that, okay, cool, like the house is burning metaphor relates to, you know, this track in particular. But then there's quite a few tracks on this album that don't, if that makes sense. So it's like it kind of goes off the theme a bit. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, of course. But I think it's the element of, because you use that metaphor, the house is burning, and there's a reason why he's used that metaphor as well. You know what I'm trying to say? So to me, it's more so the fact that coming in and out the theme just shows the element of where his headspace is at. How you dealing with the so-called house is burning, and that you can't, respectively, can't have an album that's just going down the trail of dealing with heartache, dealing with pain, dealing with trauma. There'll be times where you're gonna have to run away from it. It's just, as humans, that's what you're gonna do. And you get tracks like that, for example, like with Lay With Ya. That to me is such a twist in the album. Head banging production, and it's crazy. Juice comes out with his high rate type of flow. It takes away with, it's like a madness. The house is burning, you're going crazy. I think he's flipped it crazy, man. He's done well with it, man.
I hear that perspective as well. I hate that perspective as
different
well.
emotions, and he's put it all in the album itself.
I hate that perspective. It's just obviously for me, there was a couple of times where the songs felt a bit like random, like, you know, like I think there was only really one song that I didn't really care for, and that was the one with Lil Uzi Vert. I think it's from the
Oh yeah,
yeah,
reason why I said from the third track onwards, that's when it
yeah,
fell. The
yeah.
second
I
track,
just felt it just like random, like it was a song that he could have, you know, not had on the album. Like it just felt kind of, you know what I mean? Like it just felt like it felt out of place. Does that make sense?
that one was definitely added just to, I think, to fill in the numbers. I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. See, yeah. So yeah. So that's what I'm referring to. Zen's like obviously there was a couple months where I felt like the songs were a bit like random, especially that one. But other than that, though, like this album is really really good. You know what I mean? And it's definitely, you know, I think it's definitely going to end up in my best year list of 2021 in regards to albums.
Powerful.
Yeah. But yeah, bro. Just before obviously, you know, we say c'est la vie. What would you sort of give this album out of 10?
I'm not one to give a lot of massively high scores, but I think he's a solid 8. I'll give a solid 8, man. Solid 8. Even sneak at 8.5. If you well deserved, I think he's come through with the album. That's been, well, we've been waiting for a very long time, 5 years to be exact.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think with me, Zens, similar to your score, I'll probably give it like, I'll probably give it a light 8, for me. Strong 7, light 8. I'll probably stick to a light 8. But yeah, man, I really really like this album. Obviously, I've been playing it a lot since it dropped a few days ago, and I definitely feel like he did this album justice. You know, obviously we've been waiting for 5 years. Let's hope we don't have to wait for let's hope we don't have to wait another 5 years for the next Isaiah Rashad album. But obviously when it comes to TDE, you just never know, innit? You know, because we're still waiting for Kendrick, you know what I mean? And we're still waiting for Absol.
But Kendrick's got us waiting.
Yeah, got us waiting. So and even SZA's got us waiting as well. So let's hope yeah, exactly. Let's hope Isaiah Rashad doesn't take another 5 years. But nah, bro, I really think this project was strong. And it's definitely one of the best albums that has come out of 2021. And yeah, man, like obviously, Isaiah Rashad, if you ever end up, you know, watching this review, which is unlikely, but you never know. Then nah, we just obviously want to take our hats off to you, bro, and obviously continue doing what you're doing, man. And yeah, I definitely feel like with this album you've proven yourself. You know what I mean? You've proven yourself to be one of the best in TDE. And I don't think a lot of people can deny it now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But yeah, like obviously, you know, we want to know what you guys think. Obviously, let us know in the comment section below. All the Isaiah Rashad fans, I know there's a lot of them. You know, did you love this album? Did you hate this album? Obviously, let us know your thoughts on it. And yeah, man, obviously like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know the drill already. Still Colors will be back again real soon. Zensman will be back here real soon again. But obviously, in the meantime, everyone stay blessed, stay healthy, and peace.